Hello and welcome. My name's Leanne. I live in Australia and this is my crafty cupboard.
Welcome back to Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 4 Treasure Hunt, and this is my take on the project. And the prompt this time was words or letters, and I thought what better place to be inspired by than a book of poems. So this delightful little book is called Poems of Cheer by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. And I found this delight in a secondhand bookstore. And I just love the inscription. To dear Mrs. Edwards with warmest love. HB, I'm not sure, is that a D? 9th of July, 1910. I'm guessing it's 1910. Let's have a look at the... Yes, it was published in 1909. And I love that inside as well, it's got this note that any edition of books, prose or verse, published in England by any firm except Messrs. Gay and Hancock is pirated, not authentic. So even back then they had issues with things being pirated. Anyway, so I love this little book of Poems of Cheer, and my absolute favourite poem in it is called 5 Kisses. That's on page 44 of this edition. I'm not sure if this book's in the public domain, if her works are in the public domain, so I won't read it in case. But it basically takes you through, 5 special kisses throughout life. It's just very lovely. But what I was inspired by for my treasure hunt project is the lovely monogram on the front cover of her initials. And so I thought the theme of my treasure hunt box seems to be love, with it all being joined together by love hearts and sharing my love of stitching and, thinking about all the people that I love and how I love to create. So I thought I would use the words love and try and do this same sort of swirly design around it, and where these little balls are I will do beading. So I've started by just measuring out my space and writing the word love, and now I'm going to have a go at doing some swirls. I think there should be some swirls that define the outer edge somewhat. Oh, now that's interesting. That's turned into somewhat of a love heart. Do I do that? And put swirls inside it. Thinking. I quite like that idea. Alright, so then let's just start putting some random swirls. Maybe I could stitch the outer love heart with 2 strands and the inner swirls with 1 strand. Let's give it a go. So I'm thinking of stitching it on linen, and I have a lovely blue variegated, blues and greys variegated. This is from Cottage Garden Threads, but I don't remember the colour anymore. getting to work on this again. I've had a bit of a break. We had our garage ceiling falling down for years. Well, actually, ever since we purchased the home. And finally found a gyp rocker who could come out and do the job for us. And so we spent multiple days working on it. We had a day to clear all the tools and gym equipment out of the gym, out of the garage, because my son has a big weight bench in there and my daughter has her treadmill. And I have all my garden tools and just general tools. And we also had sort of a big cupboard in there that had just general storage as well. And we found it was storing things that actually we don't use, like camping equipment and some sporting goods that we actually don't use. So we decided to chop up that old cupboard, and boy am I glad we did, because at the base of it, 3 sides were covered in, but the back was open. There was like a big cavity under it, and it turns out that it had become a big redback love hotel. I think there was something like 20 redback sacks under there. So that's gone, goodness. And then once it was all complete, my son decided he'd like to have more mats on the floor so it would run the whole length of one side. So we went looking for those, and painter can't come until April. I thought that's a bit long to leave the ceiling uncoated. You know, when being a garage, it's a bit open to some elements. So I decided we should give it a go. So we've undercoated and 2 coats of ceiling paint. And then yesterday we finally finished putting everything back in there. And oh boy, it makes a difference. We are just so loving having a clean, fresh space out there, and no more spiders and no more ceiling caving in. So it feels really good to have got that done and to sit down and get a bit more stitching. I had to redraw this because this is one of those pens that fades, and it had all gone in the couple of days that I was away from stitching it. Came unthreaded right as I was about to do the knot. This is the heart is 3 strands, and it's stem stitch. And you saw me do the letters 2 strands back stitch, and the swirls are 1 strand stem stitch. Now I'm just going to add some metallic to the letters. So I think I'm just going to I'm not going through the fabric, I'm just going under the thread, going under each stitch. Not sure if it's showing on camera, it just gives it a little dazzling light. Okay, I'm back and it's time to bead. So I'm just using the bottom line thread because It's lovely and thin and can fit through this tiny eye of the beading needle. So my plan is just to put a bead at the end of every swirl. Oh goodness. I just go through twice because it holds it firmly and helps it to sit properly. You can see at the moment the hole's sitting up. When you've done your second stitch, the hole goes to the side and the bead's sitting up. I'm getting my thread caught on the corner of the mat. I'm just finishing up the last of the beads now. I love this beading needle and it's my favourite because it goes through every bead. All the other beading needles I have are still too thick for, for some beads. But this one goes through all of them. It's from John James, and I pulled out my needle ID card to try and identify it. But sadly it doesn't have beading needles on here. I just found those ID cards online somewhere. I no longer remember where. I think a lot of different sewing supply places sell them. Great news, as I was editing this video, I found the exact needles. I can't believe at the start of this project, the pen just kept fading and disappearing, and so every time I sat down to work on it, I had to keep going back to the light box and retracing it on. And now that I'm actually finished, there's lots of purple pen there. Okay, now I feel like this needs a bit more beading, so I'm going to put another one there. Oh. currently on holidays, so the first thing I did was spread out all of my vintage sewing box pieces and spread them all out and all the supplies for the project. So I've just commandeered the whole table and apologised to the family that this is all going to stay out until this piece is done. I got so behind on this project, but let's not call it behind. Let's call it we're up to where we're up to, and we still get to enjoy it. Oh. End of year of very busy time for me at work. I think it probably is for everyone, isn't it? I'm stitching on very early morning. This is Boxing Day. So we had a lovely Christmas yesterday. I have some family down here near Sydney with me, and then other family members all the way up around Newcastle and a bit further up the coast, and some mid-coast, some in between both of us. So we had a Christmas gathering down here at my house last Sunday, and yesterday my household drove up to spend Christmas Day with the Newcastle people. Lovely, lovely day. Gorgeous weather up there, and it's just far. It's not that far in the terms of how big Australia is, but yeah, we sort of spent more time in the car than we did get to have with family, but it was still the most glorious day. So lovely to be with them. Had a lovely lunch together. We all just brought different salads and cold meats because it's hot in Australia. We always do, well, our family always does a cold lunch. It's just lovely seeing the kids enjoy splashing in the pool and opening all their presents and all the chaos. It's lovely. Yeah, and then when we got home, around dinner time, the males in our family had some leftovers and the females were still too full and didn't eat anything. And we opened our presents to one another. And it was just, yeah, the loveliest day. We've never had an evening present opening before. Oh, I need just one more bead. And we enjoyed that. Made the day last long. Plus, my family are late sleepers, and I'm the early bird. I'm the early riser. So I think it suited their awake states to be opening their presents later on. But, my children gave me the most gorgeous, thoughtful gifts. My son gave me this lovely lavender and vetiver pillow mist from the Body Shop, and an easel that sits on the table, and a canvas. He said he noticed I have lots of sewing things and wanted to see me get into painting. So lovely. So I'm going to give that a bit more of a shot. And my daughter spoilt me with two gorgeous books. So I might share those in a upcoming video. All I wanted to do last night was sit and read them, but because I do get up early, I was so tired. I think I read 3 pages and I was sleepy and had to reluctantly put it down. But yeah, as soon as my eyes opened this morning, I'm like, jump out of bed. I'm going to go and play with my craft things. Okay, so I think that's all beaded and stitched. I'm just going to use my water brush pen to apply water here to make these purples go away. Oh, isn't that an interesting trick? It really comes out bright. Maybe I could have done that instead of redrawing it every time. Just use a bit of water. I couldn't find my more permanent one. I've got a blue one that does wash out in water, and that it stays longer. Okay, so I'm going to have to leave this to air dry and for all the purple to disappear. And then I'll come back and show you how I'm going to finish it. So I'm going to stitch it onto one of the sides of the box. This gorgeous braid came from Chrissy's Timeless Treasures.
Promises. No events in the calendar. Never seen that. Nothing.
my finished word prompt. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.